live. It's been a minute. What's going on? I'm gonna tap in for a short live tonight. Um, on the docket, I'm gonna talk about Shador Sanders. You know that big game, debut he had last night in the preseason. Then we're gonna do a reaction video to the Section 8 issue in California and how 300,000 people could lose their vouchers, due to some income update or restriction. So if you're interested, hit the like button, tap in. Yeah, let's get it going. How's everybody doing out there? Doing good. I'm blessed, man. We had a good, decent week. You know what I'm saying? I can't complain. Um, can't complain at all. Just thankful. Give all glory to God. On this beautiful day. And gonna keep going. Just thankful for another 24. So oh shit. Hold on, yeah. Oh, damn it, this is gonna be a problem. Hold on. See, I think I had it set up better the other way, but I think we're good right there. Um, let's go ahead and get it going. Shit, yeah, we gotta just take it off. It's probably be better. If I need it, then I'll use it. That's probably better right there.
When I help people save hundreds by customizing car insurance with Liberty Mutual.
We ordered a
Hold on.
limo, not a email.
Oh yeah, we do that too.
Probably better right there. Yeah, right there. That's cool.
Yeah. Checking out the bottom now.
Wait for a couple people to get in. Let's go ahead and play a song.
You know a nigga keep a courtside view, but a whole like you. I need a whole like you. You know a nigga keep a courtside view, but a whole like you, but a whole like you. I need a whole like you.
Gonna get on this mic tonight. What's going on, y'all? How you doing? Got a live schedule, reaction videos from Canada. Tom King, how you doing? Jessica Peterson, how you doing? We're gonna talk about Shador big game. No, we're gonna talk about Shador big game last night, and then we're gonna tap in with a reaction video to a little situation in California. So if y'all interested in that, hit that like button. You know what I'm saying? Tap in. Um, I'm more of a advice channel, but I started to go live recently, and I wanted to tap in on a few things. But so you can check out my videos and whatnot. I do advice and stuff like that. Just kind of keep people encouraged because you never know who needs to hear something positive and who's going through stuff. You never know. So I like to be that word, that voice, for the voiceless. So, but tonight we're gonna do something a little different. We're gonna talk about Shador big game last night if you're in the sports. So we got a little something for everybody. Then we're gonna talk about some real life stuff. So I'm gonna start on Shador game, and we're gonna talk about how the Cleveland Browns is just sabotaging this young man. And hell of a game last night. I think he went 14 to 23, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns. Man, he had a hell of a game. Um, yeah, he put on last night. And it kind of looked like the Browns wasn't expecting it. So, but shout out to the brother. We're gonna listen to some audio, and I appreciate it. I don't know if I'm gonna get famous, but we gonna. I hope so. I just do this for fun right now, and yeah, we just gonna see how it goes. I hope I do. I hope this channel do blow up one day. But yeah, let's go ahead and listen to what he got to say. Because I honestly think he had a hell of a game, but others seem to, let's matter of fact, let's listen to his coach, give his because I think his coach full of shit. I think Kevin Stefanski, they didn't want him. But the GM did, the owner didn't want him, so they kind of doing them kind of fucked up. I just really hate the fact that they're doing them like this. But let's go ahead and listen to Kevin Stefanski at the appreciate you for liking the video. But let's listen to Kevin Stefanski and what he got to say after the game. I just think this is bullshit. What's going on, W. Terry? Listening to Kevin Stefanski post game.
In this game, and we'll coach off of it, we'll teach off of it, and we will learn from it. So it's I think I was pleased with how the guys came down here.
All right, that like button coming in, and let's check, tap in.
Just want to get there by keeping our head down and keep working. But with that, I'll take any questions. Yeah, pleased with Shador, pleased with the offense. Again, not perfect, plenty that we can work on. But I thought the guys did
He started off positive. Obviously, there's plenty to work on. There's plenty to work on. There's plenty. It's the first game, so I just don't like what he gonna follow up and say. Let's keep going.
Really nice job of Shador and operating. The guys making plays. So again, a ton to teach on.
Appreciate everybody tapping in, hitting that like button.
For us as coaches and their teammates to see those guys perform under the lights and make plays. We see them making plays in practice. See if they can do it in these games. That'll continue to be part of this preseason.
What I don't like about the Cleveland Browns, I'm sorry to stop the video, but what I don't like about the Cleveland Browns organization is that they're such a bad organization for quarterbacks. They got Deshaun Watson, they got Joe Flacco, they drafted Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round, drafted Shador in the 5th round, and signed Kenny Pickett, prior to the draft. So the plan was originally to have Kenny Pickett as the quarterback. Joe Flacco might have been a veteran backup or whatever the case may be, and maybe bring in a rookie. So I think Dylan Gabriel was going to be that understudy. Pickett was going to be the starter, but we know Pickett trash. We seen him already. He dink and dunk down the field. We seen him with a good Pittsburgh team. He couldn't move the offense, couldn't score enough touchdowns. I remember he had a year where he scored 6 touchdowns, 6 picks, and then followed it up with 9 touchdowns, 4 picks. So that was really underwhelming. You got a guy like that who really can't move the ball down the field, and you decide to sign him. Cleveland just don't know what the fuck they doing. And then you bring in Dylan Gabriel, who's 5'9" on a good day. Got a noodle arm, you know what I'm saying, and really can't push the ball down the field. And took him in the 3rd round, the top end of the 3rd round, which didn't make any sense. And then bring in Shador in the 5th, and then fuck around and be like, he's the 4th string quarterback and not even really give him reps all summer. And then when the 2 guys go down, and I'm talking about Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel with the hamstrings, you want to give him all of a sudden give him a shot. And him not getting limited reps every day, 2 to 3 reps a day of practice, he came in inexperienced but showed out and showed up. I feel like if you a baller, you gonna ball, you gonna play. So it really don't matter, what type of effort you give or what type of reps you get. If you can play, you can play. I never understood, the whole narrative. Obviously you need practice. You need to go ahead and, get a rapport with those guys. But if you're a baller, you gonna ball. And that's what it is with Shador. He a baller. And I just don't understand the fact that this man said he not getting a lot of rep, or he not going to guarantee him reps going forward with the 2 guys ready to come back. I feel like with his play, he deserved more reps, but it's the Cleveland Browns being the Cleveland Browns. Let's listen.
Yeah, we're really just focused on developing our players. We're in evaluation mode. I'm pleased with where the guys are, but I'm not diving into the quarterback competition.
See, I can understand why he wouldn't divulge in that. I mean, the other guys ain't played, but at the same time, you've seen one play tonight. You know, you signed. Then again, I forgot. Damn, they signed a fifth one. Tyler Huntley. You know what I'm saying? To kind of provide some depth who can play. We know he don't stand a chance in making a roster, but if I'm Shador, bro, and depending on how they follow up, with depending on how they follow up tonight or in the upcoming couple games, if I'm Shador, I want to trade. If I'm gonna play good and I'm auditioning for other teams, trade me. I think New Orleans is the dumbest organization in the world for not taking him um, where they took Tyler Show. I mean, if he was a second round pick, went to New Orleans, he could have balled out on that. That was a perfect situation for him. But you know how I go. I don't know. I think New Orleans in tank mode. They're not interested in taking on quarterback this year. I think they got their eyes on somebody in next year's draft. Everybody coming in, hit the like button, support the stream.
Yeah, the
Talking about
situation we're
Shador
in back
Sanders, and
for
I want to do a
sure
reaction
for all of
video.
our offense. We got a third and one where he had a quarterback sneak. I mean, there's just a lot of football, and that's by design with him getting a ton of reps in this game, and he'll get a ton of reps next week as well. That's all
Y'all
part
tap
of
in and watch, watch the videos I post on my page. I do a lot of advice videos as well. This is just me getting comfortable with going live, but I do a lot of regular content as well. I got, and hold on.
I think there's a lot of
I do a lot of regular content on my channel, giving advice, to people who need it. And I also have a podcast called No Cap in My Yap. Got about 6 episodes posted on my channel. If you want to tap into that, y'all can tap into that. Show some support, leave some comments, Um, any questions you want to answer, or any critiques or constructive criticism, whatever you want to say, leave it in the comment section. You know, tap in. I'm all for it. Let's get back to the content.
options on them, including the quarterback running. So not necessarily.
Hope everybody having a good evening.
Yeah, I gotta see who's healthy. All those things. Yeah, I thought the scramble to throw to Luke, where Luke grabbed it with one hand, was pretty special by both those guys. And again, that's the fun part of this sport. That's the fun part of coaching. We get to for everything we got in these young players, and we get to go see them play.
I mean, in my opinion, because I'm not gonna watch too much of this, but I feel like Dylan Gabriel, he under the most pressure of any quarterback, and that's a rookie. If he don't come out there and perform well, and they try to justify his performance and try to excuse it, I understand it's his first game, but it was Shador first game too. If he don't outplay Shador and he's still above him on the depth chart, I got issues, bro. I got issues with that. I can't be cool with that. And that tells me that the fix is in on Shador. Um, it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, this
Don't
shit's
mix pink
crazy.
salt with lemon.
My bad, y'all. But all right, anyways, we're gonna do a reaction to this video. His channel name is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. Go ahead and subscribe to that brother. And he talking about the 300,000 California Section 8 tenants will lose housing vouchers under time limits, which is crazy work. Now I'm gonna give my honest opinion, and some people may not like it, but hey man, it is what it is. Let's go.
They're anti-business. There's 1,000 reasons why I would never, ever own a real property there. But now, guess what? the landlords there who are taking these Section 8 tenants in, they could be facing huge losses because these tenants are going to lose their vouchers, okay? And this is happening all over the country. But in California, this is particularly bad, especially in places like San Francisco, where there's a large number of these tenants. And guess what? The voucher was covering a good portion of their rent. They won't be able to cover that amount. They won't. Okay, they won't be able to pull enough money to pay those super high rents out of their pockets. It is impossible. Even if they get a job, even.
And then I'm gonna tell you like this. Um, I don't know why people want to live in California anymore. I used to live in California, and it's just so fucking high. The property taxes. Um, Deck Ape Don, how you doing? Salute. Good evening to you. Appreciate you tapping in, hitting the like button. Much blessings to you. Um, I don't know how people want to live in California, bro, with them high ass taxes, um, the high ass rent, and I don't understand it. I got the hell up out of there because it just doesn't make sense. I mean, it's getting expensive everywhere. Even where I live now, it's tax, but it's nowhere near what California is, man. It's ridiculous out there. But I got some more I want to say, but I'm gonna let the video play because I definitely got a controversial opinion on this.
To get two jobs. The rents there are just too high. So these landlords are going to be losing a lot of money when they make these cuts. However, I still agree with them. I still believe that, yes, these cuts are necessary.
And one more thing, my bad, and I'm gonna let the video play. Anybody who want to support the channel, support the content creator, and every donation I receive is gonna go back into the channel, building the channel and whatnot. My cash app is $$ Dubz 1017 OG. You don't have to support, um, but if you want to, that's cool. Either way, the channel's gonna, I'm gonna invest in the channel either way. But it's $Dubz 1017 OG. That's DUBZ 1017 OG. And if not, it's cool. Hitting the like button and subscribing helps too. Appreciate you, Deck Ape Don, for liking and subscribing. Either way, it supports the channel. Appreciate you.
Believe that the Section 8 vouchers, they are just not good for people in general, okay? They discourage people from working. They push this socialist system into our country. It causes our taxes to go up. And you know what? They become dependent. They become dependent on the government. And we have just this.
Okay, I'm gonna stop him right there. Ain't that what the government want? The government, like this country, they want people. They want to control people. This country is about control. So they want everybody to be on these jobs, making barely getting by, and not being able to survive, and wanting people to just rely on them to eat, to live. They keep tabs on their money, tax the hell out of their money, and have these people scrambling and struggling. Ain't that what they want? It doesn't make sense. But I don't think nobody know what the fuck they want no more. Let's continue.
This false economy where they can have rent prices this high, where they don't have to have affordable housing because the government is covering the cost of housing. So yeah, I believe that yes, these vouchers, the government covering the cost of people's rent is part of the reason why rents are so high in places like San Francisco, places like California in general. So before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like, subscribe button, and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. So do you believe that these vouchers, the fact that they cover a large portion of the rent for people in very expensive places like Los Angeles and San Francisco and San Diego and all over the state of California, you believe these vouchers are actually part of the reason why rents are so expensive out there. Okay? They know they can charge high rents because the voucher is going to be able to cover that cost, even though in a regular market, right, you would never be able to charge tenants such high rents who make such low incomes because they couldn't pay that amount.
Exactly. But a lot of jobs don't really pay livable wages, and that's the difference between a job and a career. People gotta understand there's a huge difference between having a job and having a career. You can have an everyday job and you're not making shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you can, like, because I think people, And I heard this the other day, and I've heard this numerous times in my past where people say, "Okay, get two jobs, and you can make it happen," but you're gonna trade your time. You're gonna trade 16 hours of your day to make an extra few $100,000 a month. Um, so you're trading your time for work, and that's counterproductive. Because I know people may be like, "How is that counterproductive?" You're trading your time for work. So the time that you're spending going to 2 8-hour jobs, I perceive, that's 16 hours a day. You got another 8 hours to yourself. If you have children, when are you going to have time for your children? You're going to barely have time to sleep because you got to get ready to go in between those two jobs. So it's counterproductive to work two jobs. It's best just to have one job that pays well. And if you're pursuing your own business and stuff like that, I don't recommend people to quit their job to start a business. I think you should use the job to fund your business while also living at your means instead of living above your means. And that's a big problem in the world today is people live above their means. Get what you can afford. Be humble, bro. It's levels to life. Sometimes you gotta take a step back in order to move 10 steps forward. So it's no need to be a single person, or even if you got a girlfriend and y'all living in the fucking $2,800 fucking condo downtown, or the $2,800 fucking, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? There's no purpose of living like that. You know what I'm saying? If For no reason, there's no purpose of driving a fucking $100,000 car and paying fucking $900 a month for fucking what? Like, all the cars do the same shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got vehicles and stuff like that, and I'm not saying I'm proud of what I pay, but at the end of the day, I got what I wanted. But if your income it does not allow you to afford vehicles like that, or a certain vehicle, then you shouldn't be looking to waste a bunch of money on financing a vehicle, or I'd rather just buy some cash and keep it moving. But let's continue. We got to start thinking logically. We got to stop trying to fit in with others just to impress people that really don't give a fuck at the end of the day. Let's continue.
Yeah, that's my opinion, okay? But do you agree with me? Put a comment in the comment section down below. Let's get into this article. I'm going to tell you what's going on in California. This article is coming from kqed.org. It says thousands of Californians could lose rental assistance amid federal housing cuts. And I've been covering several articles about this very issue going from state to state. I've talked about Atlanta. I've talked about Tulsa, Oklahoma. I've talked about all over the country. Now I'm talking about California. Now their market is very different than these landlord-friendly places. There are not a lot of places that people can afford if they don't have these vouchers. Okay, and what this could end up meaning is that landlords are going to take huge losses. Okay, if these vouchers are cut, landlords are going to take huge losses. But
And that's what I don't understand, right? It's almost like when it's a giver. What the hell? It's a give or take system, right? So if they if they give us raises at our jobs, your everyday people, they give you raises at your jobs. They have to raise the cost of the products at your job and the housing and everything else that coincides with that. So when you get a raise, everything else goes up, so it negates it. So and that's the capitalistic society we live in, man. It's unfortunate, but I also think you just have to adjust. You have to have a hustler's mentality. That's easier said than done, but unfortunately, it's really not much we can do. And I read something in his what you call it, description box, right? That says the state of California says that under a proposed 2-year time limit, more than 300,000 Section 8 tenants will lose their housing vouchers and can end up homeless. So 300,000 people potentially can be homeless, which is fucking insane. And it shows you how much they don't care about people. And But I also at the same time, and I'm gonna say it. Fuck it, I'm gonna say it. 2 years is plenty of time to figure your life out. Um, I just think we do live in a society where a lot of people do get content. They're lazy. They don't want to put in the effort. They do get comfortable in these programs and on these systems where they're getting food stamps and living in Section 8 housing and don't really want to do better. Um, I think the ultimate goal, in order for you to appreciate something more, you gotta work your ass off for it. You work your ass off and you buy that car, you'll really appreciate getting 18% to 200 plus percent plus inflation. Be occurred on Biden with no raises, job worsen, point of depression for almost everyone. It did to me. You right. Yeah, Biden. Everything went up, but what we make, and that's kind of what's still kind of going on right now. Um, it's bad, man. I mean, it's horrible. Now and then it's to the point where it's not a lot of jobs available at all, if any. So a lot of people are being encouraged to stay on your jobs. I think any money right now, if you're working a 9 to 5, is better than fucking none. Um, don't complain, just go to work. It's probably best for you to stay there because it's not. It's they squeezing goddamn the hell out of us, and they're forcing people to stay on their jobs, man. You kind of have to because a lot of us, in reality, are one paycheck from being fucking on the street. So you can miss one day of work or get sick or something happen to you that's out of your control. And most jobs, I would say 80 to 90% of jobs don't give a fuck about you. So you can be on your way to goddamn being on the street while dealing with a medical or family issue and your job don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? You just fucked up. So yeah, you gotta try to figure something out, man. I can't really tell you what to do because whatever your niche is or whatever you're into and you can monetize it, I suggest you do that. You should have more than one stream of income nowadays. I know it's easier said than done, like I said, but if you can monetize whatever your niche or whatever you're into, I highly suggest you do it. Um, you never know how far you can go, but let's continue.
I mean, it
But you're
sucks.
right.
I still
You're right.
think it's good for the economy. I would
100%
like
right.
California to
It's
move back
unfortunate.
to a more market-run economy where the government isn't declaring how much landlords can charge for rent. The government isn't putting all these restrictions on new construction for new housing, and you know, actual affordable housing could be built, but that it's very, very unlikely, or it'll take much more than.
Okay, my bad. I know I keep stopping the video, but he's hitting he's saying some stuff that I really want to respond to in a moment. But um, I don't think anybody's in the business of trying to do affordable housing anymore anyway, because the hula hoops you got to jump through to get paid not only from your tenant but from the Section 8 office. Because there I heard there's been issues with that, and then you have issues, with tenants making their share payment as well, because some tenants can only make a certain amount of. I think I've never been on Section 8, so I can't tell you, but I think you can only make a certain amount of money while being on that program. So, and I think a lot of them, they kind of game the system and they're driving these nice cars while being on Section 8 and doing this and doing that while being on Section 8, and it kind of due to them gaming the system, they ruined it from somebody else that really needs to be on that program and that's on waiting list. From what I hear, California has 20-year waiting list, which is fucking insane. If you're on a waiting list that long and you're just dependent on that and you haven't figured it out yet, then yeah, something's wrong with you, man. You're not doing enough in life to improve. That's way too long to be on the waiting list and expecting to get off it.
Simply Section 8 cuts for that to happen. Okay, so we're going to see some interesting things coming up here pretty soon. Let's get into the article, though. Hello, my name is Adam Ferrari.
Ouch, you gotta add. I don't like those. I only like them if I had them. No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't want to hear that.
And knows what it's like to start over. The Fresno radio host and single mom of 3 says she wouldn't be where she is today without the federal housing voucher she received nearly 8 years ago. At the time, she was trying to leave an abusive relationship, raising 2 daughters and pregnant with a third. I just thought, what am I going to do?
And one more thing, because I'm looking at y'all can't see the video, but I'm looking at it. We got to stop putting a race on people that receive federal housing, because that's cap. It's a lot of people of all different backgrounds struggling, and et cetera, et cetera. That's really need this stuff in order to maintain. It's a lot of people that's barely afford they can barely afford to eat because groceries are so fucking high, and it's a lot of kids that's not being fed nowadays, because it's a lot of people that are working that are working a job, and their job don't pay enough to even feed their family, which is not really they your job's concern to whether you got kids or not, but or the government. But if they have these programs in play that are designed to help you get an EBT card and feed your family, why are you not allowing them to do that? Because they make $2,000 a month. Like, what the fuck is $2,000 a month in 2025? What the fuck are you gonna do with that? How are you gonna live off $2,000 a month with a family? It's not possible. But that's what these jobs are paying people to live off of, and it's not possible to live off that. Yeah, it's a 20-year wait. Yeah, well, fuck it. It's somebody, it's somebody I knew that was on the waiting list since 1990. It was just in 90, so it's probably longer than 20 years. 1998 or nine. Um, and got off. They actually got off the wait list. Fuck. What was it? It took them like 20 to 2022. So that's 24 years. They waited 24 years on a wait list. And this is in Los Angeles. So yeah, it's a long ass wait list, bro. Um, yeah, it's a shame, bro. It really is. It's horrible. But that tells you that California, it's a lot of people that that are waiting to get off that waiting list in order to get housing. And in the meantime, they're doing what they got to do to survive, because it's so expensive out there, man. I'm telling you, as a former resident, I would never want to fucking live out there again. Even in my current financial state. For what? I mean, I can. I'm gonna drive away. You know what I'm saying? I'm about how long away from California? Probably about 5 hours or so. So I can drive back to LA when I want to. But as far as living there, that never happened. But let's continue.
Dude, am I going to go homeless with 3 kids? Vang said. She applied for a voucher on a whim, expecting to wait years. Instead, she was approved in a year. It changed everything. The voucher, which pays 30% of her rent, allowed her to focus on providing for her daughter's needs: diapers, new clothes, and being present. She started taking communications classes at Clovis City College, where she landed the radio hosting job. Vang now hosts a 2-hour daily show on Hmong Radio, where she speaks Hmong English. She covers everything from parenting to voting in local elections. Now, they threw this story out there, right, trying to garner sympathy. Oh, this is, a good example of, why we need these vouchers and why we need. Well, if you pay attention, though, this lady, right, she used the voucher for a temporary period of time until she was able to get back on her feet, and then get her job in radio and move on and hope.
Exactly, and that's exactly what I was just saying. I can understand the limit, the 2-year time limit, because the program is meant to help you get on your feet. And just like this lady did in the article, it's not made for you to get on it and then think you're gonna be on it forever. So I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to down anybody that's on the list, but you should definitely be making an effort to, especially if you're able bodied and you can work. You should definitely be making an effort to improve your situation, even if you got to move to another state that's cheaper, or California ain't that damn. I mean, it's not all that, man. I mean, I mean, for me being a resident, it ain't all that to me. For me being a former resident, my bad. It's not all that. That's not all that to me. Um, but if you're like disabled or certain exceptions, you're elderly and stuff like that, then I can understand you being on that list. But I mean, being on Section 8, but because there's limitations that's preventing you from being able to work a full time job, that's understandable. But if you got these able bodied people that get up and go to work every day and they're on Section 8, they're taking up a spot for somebody who really needs it. Continue.
Hopefully, now I don't know. Maybe she still uses the voucher. Maybe she still has to get the voucher because I know radio doesn't pay that well. But hopefully, that job, it would have fulfilled the requirements of the work requirement, okay? And if it pays enough, it would allow her to pay the rent without needing the voucher. But even before that, right? She had a place to live for a full year while she was waiting to get this voucher. So she waited a year and then they gave her this voucher. So to me, that's what that's really telling me is that, hey, she didn't need the voucher in the first place. She was getting along just fine without it. Yes, she had to struggle more. Yes, she had probably a smaller place with less amenities. Yeah, she probably had to work more hours, etc. But it's not the government's job to, make it so I don't have to work as many hours at my job and I can live in a bigger place. That's not the purpose of our government, okay? Now, these vouchers, in my opinion, are for.
Yeah, I agree. That's not the purpose of our government, but our government don't give a fuck about us. Their purpose is just the fucking sabotage us and take tax the fucking lower earning class so fucking much to where hell, so it's some people that got to go that go tax exempt, they go tax exempt, they go tax exempt, just to be able to get by. You know what I'm saying? They go taxes, yeah, just to be able to get by temporarily. I don't recommend doing that at all because they gonna be on your ass eventually. So I don't think that's wise to do that. But some people do that. I mean, I've done it. Who gives a whatever? Who gives a fuck? I did it for a second, but and sometimes you got to do what you got to do, man. I haven't done it in many years, so IRS, if you're listening, yeah, you ain't got shit on me. But the statute of limitations have passed, so you can't you can't come for me. But yeah, anyways,
Because basically you've hit real hard times and we're going to help you out temporarily. And that sounded like her story right there. She hit hard times. They helped her out temporarily. She got off the voucher. She has another job.
gotta do
Now
what you gotta
she
do. I'm
doesn't
telling
need the
you.
voucher anymore.
I don't
So
recommend it, but I'm telling you, you gotta do what you gotta do. Sometimes,
okay,
hey, you got small kids, you gotta do what you gotta do.
like, oh no, we can't.
They take too much of your damn money in taxes. For real, they take too much of your money, bro.
With or without the voucher. Now, what I have an issue with is these people who are basically.
But I don't recommend it. So don't anybody out there listening, don't do that.
Once you get this voucher, you're on
Pay your
this voucher
taxes.
for 20, 30 years. Never, you're not paid. Like in her case, they only covered 30% of her rent, which means she had to cover the other 70%. Well, there are many cases where they cover 100% of the rent. 100% of the rent, yet you have people who are fully capable of working. And they were on it for 10, 20, 30 years. Ridiculous, okay? And I just do not agree.
Now, didn't I just say that? There's a lot of people who get by just fine while they're on their waiting list. And then once they get on that waiting list, all of a sudden they can't figure it out. They need it, and there's too many people that really need that shit that cannot get it. Now the person that I was referring to, they need it because they have disabilities. You know that requires it. I don't know what their situation was at the time, but I know now they need it. So I can understand why they're on the list. I mean, on the Section 8 list now. Oh, you were on Section 8 for 25 or 26 years? Hey, I mean, listen, I'm not gonna sit here and cap and that like if I could get on it, shit, damn right I would take advantage of that. But it wouldn't work in my favor because they'll be in my pockets. So I mean, I understand. I feel it. That's the freedom is the best feeling. Because what I hear, they be in your business a lot. You know what I'm saying? You got to do inspections and um, they're in your pockets. It's nobody has time for that, man. Like being on these government assistant programs, it's just control, bro. They want to control how you move, what you make. Nobody wants to be under control like that. You want to be free and go to work and make your money and pay your own rent. Control your own narrative. Nobody got time for that shit. But shout out to you.
Agree with that. I don't think it's a good idea. I think that it is a huge strain on the economy. I think that it, is too much of a socialist program, and I disagree.
Oh wait a minute! Now he really said something that triggered me. Not him personally, but about to being the drained on the economy. Fuck yeah, it's a lot of shit, but it's more shit that's draining the economy than Section 8. That's a small problem. Look at all the shit that and when they did that what you call that audit on the the spending and everything they came up with, and they were finding that was funding programs that weren't in our country and funding little events and shit like that and wars and shit we shouldn't even be involved in, and all that money that was being wasted. That Yeah, that I bet being free is much better. Yeah, government breathing down my neck. So yeah, I bet. Yeah, look at all the shit that's being funded out here that we USA. Look at all the stuff that was being funded and and all the shit that they uncovered in that audit of government spending. And you're trying to say that, yeah, while this helps people, there are so many people that in our country that could use some of that money. Yeah, all over the damn world. It's fucking ridiculous, man. And all that money that could have been used locally to help people. And I'm not trying to offend anybody that's listening that's Hispanic, because this is nothing personal against you. Um, they have all these people coming in. They're able to get all these benefits and get these vouchers, for housing and all these food stamps, while American-born people are struggling just to eat and get by day to day. They don't give a fuck about us people. So, not I may say this, and this may be a little controversial, man. Fuck them. Fuck the government. Do what you got to do, because if they don't care about us, why the fuck would we care about them? I can see why people are doing what they got to do to get by. I don't condone crime and shit like that. That's taking it too far. But like doing little trinkets to kind of navigate and loop through the system. You know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do. Unfortunately, because at the same time, they don't give a fuck about us. They walk all over us, and take advantage of us, and don't care about how we survive, day to day. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said earlier, you're one check away from being fucked. And do you think they care? These people want their fucking money. They don't give a flying fuck about what you're going through at your job, what you're going through with your family, what you're going through health wise. They don't give a flying fuck. They want their money. During the pandemic, look how many people fucking got their cars, what you call it, repoed and got evicted after the pandemic was over. But some of that was their fault. But at the same time, it's a lot of people that really lost a career and they couldn't find a job that paid enough, because you got people when they get these jobs and they make this certain amount of money, six figures and up, their lifestyles and how they live reflect around their salary. So if you going from making $150,000 a year, for example, and hell, you're going to work at a fast food restaurant that's paying fucking 22,000 dollars a year, your lifestyle has been dramatically altered. You went from being a six-figure earner to making to being one of the lowest wage, if not the lowest wage earners in the country, all of a sudden. And your lifestyle has altered so much to where you can't afford to survive. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's unfortunate, man, and I feel like the people need to do what's best for them, but the government gonna do what's best for them, right? Continue.
Agree with you. And you know what? Time for it to end. Period. So yeah, these hard luck stories they always throw in these articles are ridiculous. But I'm gonna skip down a little bit in here and get out of this lady's personal story. Under pressure from the Trump administration, Congress is proposing sweeping cuts to the Department of Housing and Urban Development's budget and programs. More than 900,000 Californians rely on federal housing assistance, and only 1 in 4 eligible residents currently receive help, according to the California Budget and Policy Center. If Congress doesn't act, we could see tens of thousands of people, including seniors, people with disabilities, and working parents, pushed out of their homes, said Monica Deval.
Look at that bullshit. So you telling me that you got the working senior citizens, people with disabilities? Where the fuck they gonna go? They're like it's where the fuck are they gonna go? Where are they gonna go? You're gonna have people that can't, that especially the people with it's the seniors and people with disabilities. Where are they gonna go? Like you're gonna have these people on the street. They can't fend for themselves. The streets don't fucking care about nobody. You might have older women and people with disabilities that need to be sheltered and need to be inside somewhere, because especially in California, like in Los Angeles in particular, um it's dangerous out there, man, and you just never know what can happen to you. But that just shows you, like I said, they don't care about people, bro. They don't care about us. They want to decrease the population. They want people to suffer. They don't care about people, man. It's ridiculous. It really is. That's why I say if you got small children, um, keep them as close to you as possible. Work your tail off and provide the best you can. And I think what's missing in this world today, in this generation of parents, is that they're not leaving their kids when they leave this earth, whether it be prematurely or due to whatever. Um, they leave their kids with nothing. Because we were taught, or not we, but well, most of us, we were taught to just either A, get a job at the college, I mean at the high school, B, go to college, or C, go to the military. And while those are the latter two in particular are good opportunities, and in the generation today, going to the military, you basically signing your life away. And for two, and then for two, going to go to college isn't really feasible because they have all these student loans you have to sign up for, and um, if your job, which more than likely it won't be able to cover, you get a career, it's a 50-50 chance you might not even give it a job in what you went to school for, and you might be on the you not you might you're going to be on the hook for all that student loan debt as soon as 6 to 12 months after you graduate and get a job, and you ain't gonna be making enough to even cover it. It's a scam.
Alice, a housing policy analyst with the California Budget and Policy Center.
But I'm not. But before I continue, I'm sorry. I'm not against college. You know what I'm saying, in totality. But I feel like if you're gonna go to college, you got to make sure it's something that's worth your time. Don't go to college and waste your time getting useless degrees and shit just to say you have one. And then you're basically back to square one. You wasted 4 years of your fucking life. You know that you're not going to be able to get back. You've been better off just getting a 9 to 5 and going from there.
So one of the scams they always use, right, is they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to be kicking people, disabled people with who are elderly out of their homes. Okay, no, we don't plan on doing that. Now, I do have big issue with the current disability system because, in my opinion, disability has replaced welfare, and there's a lot of able-bodied people who now are on disability who in the past would have been on welfare, okay, but they're living off of disability and they are not disabled, Okay, and yet they somehow, oh, it's for my mental. I'm disabled permanently for life. You guys have to pay for me to live.
And let's get into that. That's crazy. So the whole mental health is a very, very big issue in this country. Um, it's a lot of people that has a lot of bottled up trauma and undiagnosed trauma in this country, and a lot of people don't feel comfortable opening up about it because the way they'll be judged, and I feel like that's a cop out. You should definitely always look to open up, or even if it's just you turning on your camera and making a video, that can be therapeutic in itself. I can understand why people don't open up because we kind of live in a society where it's kind of hard to open up to people and tell your business, especially if you're a man and you open up to your girlfriend or your significant other. They can either A, view you as weak, or B, um, take advantage of you and hold that information over your head. So when things don't work out, your business is exposed. So I can kind of understand why people don't open up and why people just continue to struggle in being homeless. I mean, not being homeless, but struggling in dealing with their mental health issues um, alone, which in turn can cause harm into over time in terms of like you could you could start having certain thoughts, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people are mentally strong or emotionally strong nowadays to be able to handle it and go about their day-to-day life because they let it interfere with their day-to-day life, and hence in return cause them not to care about themselves um, physically in terms of how their appearance, and then they start to continue to lose themselves mentally and emotionally, and that could turn around and backfire on them literally and figuratively speaking, and it can turn onto others. It ruins lives and relationships, and that's what's wrong with people. That's why people don't feel comfortable opening up or even being around people like that. It's a lot of people that are loners nowadays because they don't know how to interact with people. The internet has become such a tool for the bad that people are forgetting how to talk to people and interact with people like we had to do when we were children. You had to go outside when we were a child to talk to people because this stuff didn't exist. We didn't have these platforms available to be able to connect with people. You had to go outside and talk to people. And if you wanted to get with a little lady, you know what I'm saying, you had to have some game to talk to her. You had to have it. You had to be able to get that number right. So you had to have game. Nowadays, these dudes can get on Instagram or vice versa and these other apps, and they can talk to whoever they want, wherever they want, and there's no real effort required. You know what I'm saying? There is none, and that's what's missing in society. And that's why people like when you are like old fat school with your approach, and you go up to try to talk to a woman, she feels uncomfortable because that's not the way you do it nowadays. Society has changed so much, and a lot of people are stuck in the matrix, man. They don't see it.
For the next 60 years because I have a mental disability. I believe, yeah, there are cases where that's true, but there's a lot of scamming going on. There's a lot of fraud,
Yes, it
a
is.
lot of waste, a lot
Yes.
of abuse, and
Yes.
it has gone too far. And
Yes,
how
it
long
has.
before we have just this huge, and I mean a much, much bigger number of people who are not working because they know, hey, I can get my government check. Hey, I get my disability every month. I get my Section 8 voucher. I get my food stamps, right? And I don't have to do anything. And I can sit here and I can live in an expensive place like Los Angeles or like San Francisco or some expensive place that I would never be able to afford otherwise. In a nice, maybe they'll build a nice new construction place for me, 100% subsidized by the government, of course, right? I mean, but this is the reality that we're facing. These cuts, they're coming. Okay, they're necessary. We cannot put up with this forever. And regardless of what you may see, these hard luck stories or whatever, right? Those are the outliers. The majority of the people on these programs don't need it. Period.
All right, that's the end of the video. So a quick summary. Um, yeah, he's correct. Um, a lot of people don't need this stuff, and somebody got to pay for it. And it's gonna be me, you, and everybody who's watching this video. We're gonna go to work. We're gonna work our ass off, and we're gonna pay for it, and they're gonna and take it out of our taxes, and we're gonna pay so much into the system, and then when we get our tax returns, we're not gonna see it. We're not gonna see a fraction of that, and it's all set up, man. It's all a setup. That's why you got to get out this matrix and get out of the norm and start doing stuff, that really feel fulfills you and make you happy. You only get this like one time. So if you want to be a boss and do things that make you feel, that fulfills you, get out of this matrix and do what you want to do for yourself. I'm not saying quit your job today and pursue, your dreams and stuff. It takes time. You got to stay at that job to build, a foundation, what I'm saying, in order to, accumulate the funds to be able to fund your dream, and live your life. The job, everybody had to work a job at one point. All these resources that we have today were not available at one point. So the foundation has to be the job first, and then let the job fund your true passion and fulfill your dreams. And then you elevate and grow from there. You use the job the way the job use you. They treat you as a clock in number. You treat them as a check, and you use them and fund your dreams and move on. Because I think people have this ideology that you quit a job, or it looks bad on your resume. No, it don't. It don't. I mean, a lot of them companies that you quit and they try to blackball you from the company or whatever. You don't need to be working there any fucking way. So who gives a fuck about what they think? If you don't have a career, you should be definitely looking to get one. And chase your dreams and passion. Don't be out here allowing the system to get you in a hamster wheel and have you stuck. You know what I'm saying? And have you not being able to figure out a way out because you you don't feel you start to lose hope and you don't feel motivated. You know what I'm saying? Or have the ambition to be able to push forward. It can get that way, especially when you're stuck in the 9 to 5 matrix. Um, and you're only making a certain amount of money, and you're not looking for a way out. So people don't live above your means. Keep your head up and keep the faith. Every day you wake up, it's a new opportunity to make it happen. And thank God for another 24. I'm not sure where time is it where you at. It's 9:50 here. Um, but thank God for another 24, man, and be thankful every day for another opportunity to make it happen. Um, put God first in the spiritual warfare of the world we live in. It's rough out here, and make wise decisions. Your discernment has to be strong, very very strong in the world today, because you don't want to end up in a situation where you know what I'm saying you're sabotaging yourself and others that you care for by associating with all the wrong people. Um, when the signs are there to leave and the signs are there to um when the signs are there to leave and the signs are there, there's some negative energy. I suggest you move on. Don't wait until it's too late. And I'm talking about a job, relationships, friendships, whatever it may be, family. Um, yeah, you gotta have that discernment, what I'm saying, in order to protect yourself. And God knows us the best. So y'all keep your head up out there. I'm gonna make this an hour tonight, and I'm gonna make sure I do this at least once a week, maybe twice. I'm not gonna make no promises, but definitely once a week. I've been meaning to go live for the last like at least 3 times last week, bro. I just be getting busy. I got a lot of stuff going on. Um, have children as well, and have a life. I don't really get paid to be here, so the bills ain't gonna pay themselves. Um, yeah, but I appreciate Deck Ape Don. Who else was here? Jessica Patterson, appreciate you. W. Terry, appreciate you for tapping in. Tom King, appreciate you for tapping in. I appreciate everybody watching and stay, for the duration of the stream. We're going to try to do more of these as much as I can. And check out my channel, bro. I appreciate that. I like your show, Mr. Logic. I will be back, but I'm going to float on for now. See you later, man. I appreciate your time, sir. Thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to get better with this, bro. As far as going live, I did not like going live. I have a lot of videos on my channel that when I talk about, relationships and just everyday stuff and stuff like that. So if you want to tap in and check that out, tap it out, check it out. Podcast as well, where I talk about real life topics called No Cap in My Yap. Yeah, we do a lot of good stuff over here, man. We try to be a voice for the voiceless and just try to, help people, encourage people to keep their head up over here. It's a lot of negative content on this app. So I can understand why people would gravitate towards that. Um, I can understand because it's this is the world we live in, and negativity sells. I don't like to partake in stuff like that because that type of content has a ceiling because you got to keep appealing to that audience and it kind of that audience is attracted to that. They get an addiction to it. So if you're just putting out content like that and eventually you try to make a lane change on your channel and get into what you really want to, you're not going to be able to because your audience is not going to support that because they're used to you putting out negative content. So it's best to be yourself and do your channel the way you want to. So that way you're not trying to make a lane change once the negativity and drama stops, and you won't lose your audience because there's going to be people that genuinely rock with you from the beginning. Um, I don't mind. The channel's going to grow eventually. The people are here. I really appreciate you. I'm not um I'm not really looking at the numbers. It's going to do what it's going to do. But I'm going to keep going live and pushing, and more people hopefully will find me and tap in. I mean, that's all I can hope. But yeah, we're out. Logical perspective. All Dubz No Ls, whatever you want to call me. Y'all like, comment, subscribe. If you're in the replay, everybody here that tapped in, I appreciate you. Keep your head up out there. Stay focused and be blessed. All right, man. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace out.